Hey everybody, it's Miss Shanahan. Welcome to this video. Today we're going to read Chapter 2 of Tuck Everlasting, and we're going to practice finding relevant evidence. So our objective for this video is that I can choose the most relevant evidence to support a statement. If you can master this, then you'll be able to explain your thinking and back up any arguments that you're ever asked to make, both in school and out of school. So when we talk about relevant evidence, we're talking about a part of the text that best supports the answer to the question. So if you're ever asked to choose the best evidence or find evidence, we're always finding evidence that supports your answer the best or most fully. So what you see on your screen here is the Rate My Evidence scale. Now this scale is going to help you make sure that when you are choosing evidence, it is relevant and best supports your answer. So evidence is 1 star if it's unrelated or not relevant to the task or to the question. In that case, you should probably go reread the question, reread the text, and try again. 2-star evidence is evidence that supports the answer to the question, but is not complete. Read the question another time and try again. Okay, so with 2 stars, you're getting there, but you should still see if you can find even better evidence. And if you find yourself with some 3-star evidence, this evidence is relevant. It's related to the answer and fully supports it. And this evidence gives context or background. If you've got 3-star evidence, you're good to go. 3 stars are goals. So we're going to use this scale to help us choose our very best evidence. So now we're going to start reading Chapter 2 of Tuck Everlasting, paragraphs 1 through 5. While we read, we're also going to be practicing finding the best evidence to support a statement. Okay, so while I read, you're going to look for evidence that supports that statement in yellow at the bottom. May is excited about something. So before we read, we're going to review some challenge words that you'll see on the right side of your slide. Our first word is beaming. If somebody is beaming, they are smiling widely. If somebody is melancholy, they're kind of sad, maybe depressed, not in a good mood. And the word vanished means like poof, it just went away. Okay, so let's start reading. And remember, you're looking for evidence that supports this statement. May is excited about something. Paragraph 1. And so, at dawn, that day in the first week of August, May Tuck woke up and lay for a while, beaming at the cobwebs on the ceiling. At last she said aloud, "The boys will be home tomorrow." May's husband, on his back beside her, did not stir. He was still asleep, and the melancholy creases that folded his daytime face were smoothed and slack. He snored gently, and for a moment the corners of his mouth turned upward in a smile. Tuck almost never smiled except in sleep. May sat up in bed and looked at him tolerantly. "The boys will be home tomorrow," she said again, a little more loudly. Tuck twitched and the smile vanished. He opened his eyes. "Why'd you have to wake me up?" he sighed. "I was having that dream again, the good one where we're all in heaven and never heard of Tree Gap." May sat there frowning, a great potato of a woman with a round, sensible face and calm brown eyes. "It's no use having that dream," she said. "Nothing's going to change." All right, let's get back to that question. May is excited about something. But what is it? Right, May is excited that the boys are coming home. But what we really need to do is find evidence that supports that. So I noticed that in paragraphs 1 and in paragraphs 3, She says, "The boys will be home tomorrow." So I know that shows what she's excited about. Let's think, is that the best evidence that supports May is excited about something? What do you think? Is this the best evidence? Now, as a teacher, if the question says, what evidence supports this statement, May is excited about something, and somebody wrote, "The boys will be home tomorrow," I would give that 1 star. It's not quite relevant. It doesn't quite show us that she's excited. So let's go back into the text. Now, looking back at paragraph 1, I notice one of our vocabulary words, beaming, right? Smiling widely. If she's smiling widely, she must be pretty excited about something. So looking back at paragraph 1, I'm going to identify that word beaming, and starting from the beginning of that paragraph, I'm going to see if that paragraph will be my evidence to support May is excited about something. And so at dawn, that day in the first week of August, May Tuck woke up and lay for a while, beaming at the cobwebs on the ceiling. "At last," she said aloud, "the boys will be home tomorrow." Right, so now, because we use that word beaming, we know she's excited. So let's see, how many stars can we give that evidence? Yep, 3 stars. So before we continue reading, just to recap, May wakes up excited that the boys are coming home, and Tuck, feeling melancholy, isn't quite as excited as she is and was just waking up from a dream. Let's keep reading. Paragraph 6. "You tell me that every day," said Tuck, turning away from her onto his side. "Anyways, I can't help what I dream." "Maybe not," said May, "but all the same, you should have got used to things by now." Tuck groaned. "I'm going back to sleep," he said. "Not me," said May. "I'm going to take the horse and go down to the wood to meet them." "Meet who?" "The boys, Tuck, our sons. I'm going to ride down to meet them." "Better not do that," said Tuck. "I know," said May, "but I just can't wait to see them. Anyways, it's 10 years since I went to Tree Gap. No one will remember me. I'll ride in at sunset, just to the wood. I won't go into the village. But even if someone did see me, they won't remember. They never did before now, did they?" "Suit yourself then," said Tuck into his pillow. "I'm going back to sleep." Now, at the bottom, in yellow, we have another statement that we're going to need to support with evidence. Tuck is not excited about seeing his sons. Take a moment and look at the passage we just read. Can you find evidence that proves Tuck is not excited about seeing his sons? Awesome. Let's zoom in on paragraphs 8 and 9. Looking again at paragraphs 8 and 9, which paragraph has 3-star evidence? The best, most relevant evidence that shows that Tuck is not excited about seeing his sons. Yep, paragraph 8. Let's keep reading. Paragraph 10. May Tuck climbed out of bed and began to dress. 3 petticoats, a rusty brown skirt with 1 enormous pocket, an old cotton jacket, and a knitted shawl, which she pinned across her bosom with a tarnished metal brooch. The sounds of her dressing were so familiar to Tuck that he could say, without opening his eyes, "You don't need that shawl in the middle of the summer." May ignored this observation. Instead, she said, "Will you be all right? We won't get back till late tomorrow." Tuck rolled over and made a rueful face at her. What in the world could possibly happen to me? "That's so," said May. "I keep forgetting." "I don't," said Tuck. "Have a nice time." And in a moment, he was asleep again. So again, at the bottom of your screen, you will see another statement in the orange box that we need to support with evidence. Tuck and May know each other very well. So, can you find evidence that best supports that Tuck and May know each other very well? Great. Now we're going to read our last section of chapter 2 from paragraph 13. May sat on the edge of the bed and pulled on a pair of short leather boots, so thin and soft with age, it was a wonder they held together. Then she stood and took from the washstand beside the bed a little square-shaped object, a music box, painted with roses and lilies of the valley. It was the one pretty thing she owned, and she never went anywhere without it. Her fingers strayed to the winding key on its bottom, but glancing at the sleeping Tuck, she shook her head, gave the little box a pat, and dropped it in her pocket. Then, last of all, she pulled down over her ears a blue straw hat with a drooping, exhausted brim. But before she put on the hat, she brushed her gray-brown hair and wound it into a bun at the back of her neck. She did this quickly and skillfully, without a single glance in the mirror. May Tuck didn't need a mirror, though she had one propped up on the washstand. She knew very well what she would see in it. Her reflection had long since ceased to interest her. For May Tuck and her husband, and Miles and Jessie too, had looked exactly the same for 87 years. Wait, what? 87 years? Make a prediction. Why do you think they've looked exactly the same for 87 years? Awesome. All right, now we're going to look at the last statement that we need to support with evidence. May likes to follow a regular routine. So you are now going to find a piece of evidence that supports that statement. Make sure it's 3 stars, relevant to the text, or relevant to the statement. Awesome job, y'all. So, now what? You're going to go into Canvas and find the Choosing Relevant Evidence assignment, November 16th, in the English 6 Canvas page. You can find it by going into Modules and finding it in the Term 2 module, or you can find it in the list of assignments on our English 6 homepage underneath the Bitmoji Classroom. All right, do your very best work, and as always, let us know if you have any questions. Bye, y'all.